I mean, are there any red lines that you have, like you're not allowed to get AI involved in certain parts of the business?
Currently, yeah. Purely around risk, we haven't felt comfortable uh, putting AI into anything that is client facing, at least not without a human touching a significant portion of what is being generated before it goes out. That is a hard line for the time being. Giving out information around numbers, how much things are worth, how much someone's investment is, and then having an AI generate something incorrectly and provide that to a client is just not something we're comfortable with. We're not willing to have that go wrong. So we always have a human in the loop there to verify any of the numbers that are in there, any of the claims we're making. Um, that is a hard line that we have.
So everything apart from kind of client facing, it's fair game.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the stuff internally, we do a lot of different use cases, mainly around your typical generation of content. I think is the big one. I'm a big believer that humans as a whole, we see it in the software engineering side of things. We're moving from generating code or generating assets like Word docs or PowerPoints through to reviewing them. You can have an agent synthesize all of this information together, generate something for you, and then have a human tick it off in an hour rather than spend 3 days having a human write it out for you. That's where a lot of the business value is coming from, I think, across most of the organizations, not just my current organization, but the previous companies I used to consult with.
Is there anything that you feel is unique about kind of the approach? Because I mean, I understand that a lot of them mentioned earlier, like the investment companies that are out there, a lot of them are still really apprehensive. And there's also a lot of innovation happening within things like Claw, consuming Barlow, OpenAI, etc. Like, how do you manage that, as you say, dichotomy of like risk management and concern about what AI agents can do versus we need to innovate, we need to stay top of our game because
Yeah.
this technology is kind of growing at such a clip.
Yeah, it's things are moving very, very quickly. Um, there's announcements every day of these new models every week. Um, I think from an organizational standpoint, we don't want to be groundbreaking, particularly in something that is such high risk as AI. We like to be what we call a fast follower. So if anyone knows the Gartner hype cycle, you've got the peak of inflations, and then it drops off into the trough of disillusionment, and then comes up to the plateau of productivity. We like to explore coming up to the peak inflations. That's where we like to play around. My team will explore that. We'll keep an eye on what happens there, but we wait for things to come through that trough of disillusionment before we start playing around with things at that plateau of productivity. There are some obviously POCs and some of the things going to prod where we are playing around with that peak of inflations, and we know that there is potentially going to be a crash there. We've hit a bunch of barriers as we've been building these things out that we've had to talk to our partners such as Microsoft to help us get around. But yeah, for the most part, we like to be that fast follower mentality rather than groundbreaking.
And where's the push coming from in the organization to kind of AI fight some of your processes? Is it a real top down motion or kind of where's the impetus for, I guess, you coming into the organization and making this change?
I think it's a bit of both. It's top down, but also bottom up. I think a lot of our people, the boots on the ground, people that are generating this different kind of content, are using it already. We already are having to try and rein things in. To people that are going and doing things that are outside of the scope, or using tools that like new and exploratory rather than like the approved standard. Use this tool. So there's that kind of push to keep up with people doing that. But then there's also a broader push from the top. I think from most organizations I've worked with over the years that, hey, this is going to be the future. This is going to change the way things work. We need to start exploring it. We need to start looking at it. I hope it doesn't take people's jobs. I don't want it to take people's jobs, but I think the types of jobs that are going to be happening in the future are going to be drastically different than what we see today. No one's going to be sitting there writing emails or writing documents anymore. I know there's people that's their entire job. I don't see that being something in the future.